This car looks like a normal Mercedes sedan, but in the early 1990s, this car cost nearly twice as much as a standard E-Class sedan. It embarrassed sports cars and was secretly hand-built by Porsche. And today, this car tells one of the greatest sleeper stories ever. If you're new here, my name is Troy and welcome to Torque Junkies. This channel is all about celebrating the passion for all things motorized. Not just cars, but planes, trains, motorcycles, boats, ATVs, snowmobiles, anything with a motor. We're here to celebrate that and share our stories about making memories around those types of things with our family and friends. So I'm glad you're here and welcome. Today, we're going to be using this Hot Wheels Mercedes-Benz 500e to dive into one of the most boldest decisions that Mercedes-Benz ever made. This car carries a story involving luxury, performance, Porsche engineering, and a price tag that shocked buyers in the 1990s. So I've done a little digging, and here's what I've come up with on this vehicle. The Mercedes 500e was built on the W124 platform, the same platform as the Mercedes 300e, a car known for comfort, reliability, and understated luxury. In the early 1990s, a Mercedes 300e was already considered a premium sedan. I remember these cars because I was in high school at that time when the 300e came out, and I remember there was a rich girl in school whose parents gave her a brand new one to drive every day. And they were pretty cool cars. It was a pretty solid built car. In the early 1990s, the Mercedes 300e was already considered a premium sedan. Its MSRP was roughly $40,000 to $45,000, depending on options. It was smooth, refined, and built like a tank, but it wasn't fast. And that's where Mercedes decided to do something completely uncharacteristic. Mercedes wanted a car that could compete with the BMW's growing performance reputation without turning into a loud or flashy sports sedan. So they asked a dangerous question: what if we put a massive V8 into our refined E-Class and didn't tell anyone? That idea became the 500e. When the 500e launched, its original MSRP was around $80,000 to $82,000. That was nearly double the price of a standard 300e. So buyers weren't just paying for more power, they were paying for hand-built construction, Porsche engineering, a widened body, reinforced chassis, upgraded suspension, and performance that rivaled sports cars. This wasn't a trim package. This was an entirely different machine wearing a familiar suit. Here's the part that makes this car legendary. Mercedes could design the 500e, but they couldn't build it efficiently on their production lines. The 5-liter V8 was too large, the chassis needed reinforcement, and the body had to be widened to fit the drivetrain and suspension. So Mercedes turned to Porsche. The Porsche engineers widened the W124 body, modified the chassis, tuned the suspension, and hand-assembled each car. These vehicles were actually transported back and forth between Mercedes and Porsche facilities during production. This is why the 500e feels so special, because it was special. The final result? A luxury sedan built between 1990 and 1994 with 322 horsepower, 0 to 60 in under 6 seconds, and a completely understated appearance. No wild body kit, no loud badges, just slightly flared fenders and confidence. This was a car that could sit quietly at a stoplight and then disappear. Fast forward to today, and the 500e has become incredibly collectible. So here's a few pictures of some vehicles that have recently sold on Bring a Trailer. This one here sold for $39,500 back in December. Actually, no, just a few weeks ago. And that one was from Florida. 103,000 miles on the odometer on this one. And there's another side profile of it. This is another one here. This one sold for $27,500 back in November, not too long ago at all. That was in 1992. And that one had 206,000 miles on it. So obviously these cars last if you take good care of them. The interesting thing is I noticed that most of the cars that have sold on Bring a Trailer were only these two different colors. I'm not sure if they only made those two colors or if they only made a couple colors or what, but almost all of them were these two colors. And that's interesting. This one says Mix-a-Lot on the license plate. I'm not sure if that would be Sir Mix-a-Lot or not, but he lives up in the Seattle area, which is where I used to live, and I used to see him frequently at car shows there. There's another picture of that one. You can kind of see how the front fenders are a little bit wider on there. It's real subtle. I remember when these cars first came out, and I was a big car guy, so I could kind of spot them on the road, and I knew what they were. I knew they were special, but to the average person, they did not look like anything different. There's a quick interior shot, not much different there. Another one there, engine shot there. And then here's another one sold for $55,000 in November. This was the 1992. And it was from Colorado with $66,000 miles on it, which explains why it's a little bit higher price probably. And there's a side shot of that one. Another engine shot there. And that's it. Now, I personally think this is one of the neatest little cars that Hot Wheels has made recently. They really went into a lot of detail on this vehicle. You can see they got the headlights, they've got the tail lights. The paint is really nice on it. It's even got the 500E on the back, the exhaust coming out the back. It's got the Mercedes emblem on the back. I mean, they really went over the top on this one with all the little details on it. Very impressed with it. You can see the headlights and the grille, front license plate, all that kind of stuff. They did an amazing job on this one. This is why I collect, and this is why I tell these stories. Cars like this are meant to be seen. If you enjoyed this video, welcome to Torque Junkies. Stick around, we've got a lot more stories to tell, cars to share, and memories to share as well. Thanks for being here. We'll see you in the next video.